Imagine, if you will, a small, quiet town where nothing ever happens, until now. The town, a charming haven, is nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, a place where life is as predictable as the rising and setting of the sun. It's the kind of place where neighbors share meals, secrets are few, and the word stranger is alien. But then, the tranquility was shattered. One of the residents, a man as ordinary as the town itself, decided to take an evening stroll through the nearby woods. This was a path he had tread 1,000 times before, a path that echoed with the mundane rhythm of his life. But that day, the woods whispered something different. He stumbled upon something that didn't belong to the serene woods or his peaceful town, something so horrifying it turned his blood cold. What he discovered was so unsettling it sent a shiver down his spine. In the heart of the woods, something sinister lay, untouched and undiscovered until now. Nestled deep within the forest's gnarled grasp, a structure had seemingly sprouted from the undergrowth overnight. It was an old house. Its once vibrant colors faded into obscurity, cloaked in the shadows of the towering trees. Its windows stared out like hollow eyes, filled with an ageless dread that chilled the marrow of anyone who dared to look. The house was an enigma, its sudden appearance as puzzling as its eerie aura. It was discovered by a local resident, a man known for his solitary walks through the woods. Stumbling upon this derelict building where once was only a clearing, his heart pounded in his chest. He felt an icy shiver crawl up his spine, a primal warning his instincts screamed at him. Yet curiosity, that ever-persistent cat killer, urged him to investigate. As he approached, the house seemed to loom larger, its decrepit form casting a monstrous shadow over the forest floor. The wind whistled through the skeletal branches above, a mournful melody that echoed the dread in his heart. He could not shake off the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes tracking his every move. Rushing back to the safety of his home, he reported his eerie find to the local authorities. They listened to his account with skeptical amusement, dismissing his claims as nothing more than a prank or the product of an overactive imagination. But the resident insisted, his voice trembling with a raw fear that was hard to ignore. However, the authorities remained unconvinced, their laughter a bitter pill to swallow. Little did they know this was just the beginning of the nightmare. Curiosity, as they say, killed the cat, but in this case, it might just kill the whole town. In the heart of our tale, we find a group of teenagers, brimming with adventurous spirit and a thirst for thrill. The chilling discovery and the unsettling find had sparked a wild flame of curiosity in their hearts, a flame that was about to lead them down a path less traveled, a path shrouded in mystery and danger. They had resolved to investigate the house, the epicenter of the town's whispered fears and unspoken dread. Night had fallen, but their resolve was unwavering. The moonlight cast long, eerie shadows as they approached the house, its grim facade a silent testament to the horrors it held within. They were trespassers in a realm of darkness, breaking into a property that had seen better days, a property that had been swallowed by time and forgotten by the world. Their footsteps echoed ominously, each footfall a loud proclamation of their intrusion. The house, it seemed, was listening. The silence around them was heavy, oppressive. It was as if the air itself held its breath, awaiting the horrors that were about to unfold. The teenagers, however, were oblivious to the ominous signs. They were fueled by adrenaline, their hearts pounding in their chests, their minds filled with images of glory and triumph. They reached the door, its paint peeling off, the wood rotting. It was a barrier between them and the unknown, a barrier they were about to cross. One of them reached out and pushed the door open. It creaked, a mournful sound that echoed through the silence of the night. As the door creaked open, they were met with an eerie silence, a silence that was not empty, but filled with countless untold stories, with whispers of the past, a silence that was about to be broken by their screams. Every house has its secrets, but this one had a life of its own. As they settled in, an air of unease began to permeate the ancient dwelling. The once welcoming warmth of the house started to feel eerie and foreboding. The whispers of the wind through the cracks and crevices seemed to carry ghostly murmurs of a past better left forgotten. The creaking floorboards echoed through the hallways, each groan a chilling reminder of the house's age and hidden secrets. One by one, the teenagers started to notice peculiar events. Objects previously left in one place would appear in another, as if moved by an unseen hand. The flickering lights would sometimes cast menacing shadows that seemed to dance on their own accord. The once mundane house was now a theater of the uncanny, each room a stage for the inexplicable. The whispers grew louder, the wind colder, the shadows darker. It was as though the house was alive, its heartbeat echoing through the walls in the form of unexplainable sounds. The teenagers, initially dismissive, began to feel a growing sense of dread. They could no longer ignore the chilling apparitions that appeared in the corners of their eyes only to vanish when looked at directly. The house seemed to be communicating with them in a language not of words but of fear. It was a haunting melody of the past, a symphony of sorrow and dread that filled each room, each corridor. The house was not just haunted, it was a haunting, an entity, a presence that refused to be ignored. They soon realized that their reckless curiosity had led them to stir a slumbering spectre. They were not the inhabitants of the house, they were its guests, its playthings. And they had awoken something that should have remained undisturbed. It was a chilling revelation, a haunting truth they could no longer ignore. They had awoken something that should have remained undisturbed. Fear is a powerful motivator, especially when your life hangs in the balance. The chilling realization of being trapped in a house that doesn't want to let go seizes the hearts of our terrified teenagers. The once familiar walls of the old house have turned into a labyrinth of dread. They scramble, their frantic footsteps echoing through the eerie silence, each turn more disorienting than the last. The house, almost sentient, seems to shift and change around them. Doors they had just walked through vanish, replaced by solid, unyielding walls. Hallways stretch and twist like serpents, leading them further into the bowels of the house. The fear that had been a mere whisper in their minds now screams at full volume. It's a race against time, a race against the twisting, turning, malevolent house. The soft flicker of hope that had been burning in their hearts starts to wane. Panic sets in, their breaths come in ragged gasps. Their hearts pound like drums in their chests. But amidst the terror, a spark of resolution ignites. They realize they cannot let the house win. They cannot let it consume them. They devise a plan, a desperate attempt to break free from the ever-changing maze. They decide to stick together, to rely on each other's strength and courage. They navigate the mutating corridors, their determination pushing them forward. They find strength in their unity, their shared fear fueling their will to escape. The house roars in defiance, its walls shifting faster, its corridors twisting tighter. But the teenagers, driven by sheer desperation, continue their relentless pursuit of freedom. The house, though formidable, is not invincible. It has underestimated the resolve of its captives. They press on, their spirits unbroken, their hope rekindled. Their escape may not be guaranteed, but they refuse to be the house's prisoners. They were not guests in the house, they were prisoners. Yet they refuse to remain so. Their fight for freedom continues, their spirits unbroken, their determination unwavering. This is not the end of their story, it's the beginning of their escape. Every story has an ending, but not this one. This one is just getting started. Just when we thought the terror was over, a glimmer of hope arose. One of the youngsters, braver than the rest, stumbled upon a possible escape route. A hidden passage, a beacon of light in the heart of the darkness. But as he neared the threshold of freedom, a force unseen seized him. A chill ran down the spines of the others as they watched their friend, their hope, being dragged back into the shroud of darkness. His screams echoed in the hollow hallways, a haunting reminder of the danger that lurked in the shadows. His fate remains unknown, his screams a chilling cliffhanger. Will his friends find the courage to save him, or will they too succumb to the shadowy terror? What happened to him? Will the others escape? That's a story for another time. Remember to subscribe and like the video if you want to hear what happens next.